Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session on complex problem solving. This is just a snapshot of the methodology we are going to introduce it to you and also to give you some idea about the problem solving steps and accepted proven way of resolving problem and improving the outcome of your projects. So let's start with question. What is the problem here? Now I can hear that you guys start saying something like glass is half full, half empty, or glass is twice as big as it needs to be, or you might be cynical and ask the who drank the other half kind of questions. But actually, what exactly are we trying to solve here? You see, this is a problem because when we are asked a question, we feel that we have to answer it. This is good if it is a simple question, if it is a address or the asking the nearest shop, and so yeah, sure, you should answer. But if it is a problem, it would be better to just stop and think, and then give your answer or recommendations. Because what is we found out that not understanding the problem correctly actually is the biggest problem. Of course, because if you can not understand the problem correctly, you cannot resolve the problem, or you cannot find the root cause of the problem correctly. See, this is the other issue, because most of the problems are the actually symptoms, not the real cause. It means we might keep getting the same problem over and over again because we didn't resolve the root problem. Believe it or not, we have lots of data to prove this theory. Actually, I believe this is a fact. You can search on the Google to find out, but this is. Because probably you also heard that there are lots of horror stories to share as an example. Oh, from NASA's, launching of a Mars orbiter to big mergers or rollout of government systems. And almost every day in the newspaper or on the online news, you will see this kind of big problems, and you will think that how they cannot resolve. It's very simple, because they just try to jump on the first solution, first idea they think. That's why if it is a simple thing, it may work. But if it is a big complex problem, it may not work. Which is according to the PMI's research published in the Pulse of the Profession 2018 version, 10% of every dollar is wasted due to poor project performance. That is like, according to PMI, it's 100 million for every 1 billion invested on projects. This is huge money we are talking over here. And also the projects. See, if you are part of the project team or the managing a project, what you need to remember is that to succeed, projects and programs require thousands of things to go right. To fail, only one thing needs to go wrong. I'm sure you can agree on this. So, we know that one of the reasons, if not the major reason, projects are failing is because we are project teams, managers, leads, actually don't know how to handle big problems. As you hear that too much money is being wasted on resolving wrong problems or not able to identify the real cause, going in circles, repeating the same mistakes over and over again. Most of the time, there is not much time to stop and analyze. Like here, when we are asked what the problem is, we tend to respond first thing comes to our mind. Especially during an emergency situation, we start running around in panic mode and jump on the first solution we can think or advise, hoping it will fix the problem, because the stakeholder, the executive sponsor is in our back and waiting, and they are keep asking. The problem is you might be lucky to resolve for that problem once in a while, maybe second time in a row, but believe me, not the third time. It is better to test couple methods and keep the one works for you in your pocket in case of emergencies. That's why in this short webinar, I'm going to introduce you tested and proven problem-solving approach called Kepner and Faria, and importance of engaging right resources with the right questions to identify the root cause of a problem, find a solution, and reach the consensus to resolve complex problems and rescue your project. But before jumping to Kepner and Faria, let's look at the basics. You may already doing some of this stuff, but let's just talk about the characteristic of good problem solving. It is standard everywhere. There might be different names and so, but what is important, first you need to understand the problem before taking any action. I know, again, that when the executives or sponsor is waiting and asking you why you are not acting, you are in a room with bunch of guys, but actually this is the only best thing you can do at that moment, because trillions of dollars have been wasted by professionals due to trial and error implementations. But what we are suggesting is standing back at least for a few minutes and think about the problem first before acting. Those few minutes should be spent doing a quick factual snapshot of the problem situation. Also important to collaborate with the correct resources for maximum implementation success. What we are saying that ask the right question from the right person to get the right answer. That's why you should include the information sources closest to the problem being experienced. Not the best resources. Again, the right resources. The resources on that, impacted environment, they are there, they are aware of it, and so. Always, it's not the best brains and most appropriate brains, okay? That's why, look at your snapshot and decide what information you are still missing. Decide who should have that information and frame your question, ask that person your specific question and expect specific answer. That's why you need to have the right resources in the room. Also, don't forget to ask for inputs from the appropriate stakeholders. Do you want commitment for a decision? If so, involve the appropriate stakeholders from the beginning and together arrive at the best implementation option. As you can see, it is free and it is easy to do. It is going to cost you only a little bit of time, but you can do before making a decision saying to roll back or launch it or upgrade or order new equipment and so. Okay, but what do you do if it's a complex problem? You see, you have a bunch of people and everyone is thinking, now everyone's saying something. Now this is the problem. You see, when there is a complex problem and the project is halted due to this problem, what do? Close the project and go home? Just leave it and hoping it will resolve itself? Fit it with a very expensive solution? Fix it with very expensive solution? Imagine the value you add when you have a method that could be utilized by all stakeholders to tackle such a problem head on. See, if any of these are resonating with you, you can make a major difference in your next project and even in your existing situation once you follow the methodology. Why we need to have methodological problem-solving approach? Because every additional resource called in to resolve the problem will add to the cost of your project, and every delay will extend the solution time of the problem. Because again, researchers made some research and they found that more members participate in a problem actually requires more time and cost more. Yes, because when you add more people, especially not at the beginning as you move forward, because you are not reaching the right resources, it is going to delay actually your project. Research has shown that not having the right people and structured processes in place, we spend more time, more resource, more money searching for a solution to the wrong problem. Too much money is being wasted on poor project performance because more people adds more time and cost. And what happens when that problem is then passed from one head to many, to divisions, suppliers, multiple suppliers? See, it is cost. And every time you bring to new people in, you have to explain again, and they might start questioning to some stuff. You have to reiterate the stuff, and so you know the girl, and it will be the same. That's why researchers found that every additional member involved adds on average a day to resolve your problem. It will be good to know whom to involve to avoid this formula from getting out of control. That's why just consider the impact of saving thousands, even millions of dollars. We have to consider not just the project costs. If there is a major problem, operation resources will be called, their time, and then redoing the project later on, and loss of opportunity cost because the project not implemented on time, expected value not realized. These are all other costs accounted here. So, Charles Kepner said years ago, if a team could not solve an incident investigation situation, the person with the information was not invited. It means, he said. That's why Charles Kepner, was discussing this situation with Matt Faria, and they said there is something wrong here. And then the issue they gathered that even when you have the right resources, if you don't ask them the structured questions, again, you may not get the result that you are looking for. Okay, that's why they found the Kepner and Faria method. It is very interesting. This method is invented about 50 years ago because they were pioneered a specific thinking approach in critical thinking that addresses the fundamental and advanced needs of root cause analysis. This approach uses a commonly supported template with structured questions to guide a team through the analysis phase quickly and effectively. The thinking behind this encourages troubleshooters to ask the right question of the right people to generate quality data and so promote intuitive deductive reasoning from subject matter experts. You see, to accomplish this, they said that, there is a natural thought pattern that using divergent and convergent thinking approaches. Divergent thinking involves breaking down a given problem. The aim of doing this is to get insight into the various aspects of the problem. This process is spontaneous and helps to generate different ideas for the problem quickly. This is where you are opening, where you are gathering all this information, okay? You are gathering all the factual data is available to you. All right now we are thinking out of the box. However, convergent thinking involves organizing the ideas and information generated during the divergent thinking to get the correct solution. You see, now you are actually narrowing down. You are analyzing the data and eliminating all this data that it's just a white noise to reach the right conclusion. The idea was to empower problem-solving teams to use a systematic, template-driven thinking approach to get the whole team to agree on the incident root cause. As I mentioned at the beginning, that this is the key, because we don't want to fix the symptoms. We want to fix the root cause of the problem. Then reduce that it will never happen again. The use of a common approach and language enables the teams to find both the technical and root cause more quickly, accurately, and permanently. This is the core of the idea. By adopting structured templates and applying the Kepner and Faria processes, the teams are assured of identifying the true root cause first time, almost every time. See, teams are then well positioned to use this systematic and repeatable process in cooperation with the identified subject matter experts, using information sources to restore critical services. That's why the identifying the issue, finding the root cause helps avoid unnecessary and expensive trial and error situation by employing a step-by-step critical thinking approach to identify, analyze, resolve, and prevent incidents. Now, I hope you are following. If not, I recommend you to go a little bit back and listen again, because important to understand the divergent and convergent thinking approach. But what are the Kepner and Faria principles? It is very simple. Oops, sorry. Let's go back to slide. And the core principles are the following. Okay. Using templates with structured questions to encourage transparency and collaboration. Because we don't want to have that, oh, she said that, he said that, oh, I thought it was this or this was this. No. We are using standard structured template and asking the structured questions. And you are asking these questions to everyone, because there is no, politics or nothing over there. And it's important to be specific. The more specific your data is, the better your chance for solving the problem. Oh, we have a performance issue is not specific. We noticed that 10% reduction on the performance, it is better. Depends on the situation. You may say that between 9 a.m. to the 12 p.m. we noticed that. Okay, or only Mondays, or only afternoons, or whatever. You see, be specific. And when they call it this application, we noticed it. But if they call the X application, everything worked perfectly. Okay, this is when we say the specific. It is like I am having a headache. But what type of headache we are talking about it? It is important. Quality of data. You should use strategies that will separate relevant data from irrelevant data, because irrelevant data would confuse the problem solver, confuse the team. See, that's why we do we gather all this information and then we do the qualitative analysis to separate the irrelevant data. And then we have to test the assumptions before we implement any solution. Of course, anybody is allowed to suggest theories, and some would provide them anyway without having been asked to contribute, as we know, but have a method that would allow you to test the thinking of others in a constructive way. The Kepner and Faria troubleshooting methodologies provide a platform for systematic analysis using problem-solving and decision-making templates. The prepared structured questions enable teams from different disciplines to collaborate with the most appropriate and qualified information sources more effectively. Remember, this combination of investigation tools provides the problem-solving team with the means to initiate, execute, and complete an accurate root cause analysis. In addition, it also provides a platform to thinking investigators to solve vexing problems, incidents, and generate solutions for seemingly unsolvable problem situations. And of course, it is important to gather information. When you are testing, you have to gather the results, and it is important to see the result and then continue. And also, it is very important to put some special emphasis about the way we determine the accuracy of the fault. Okay? And of course, it is important to organize information. Make the point that we normally gather all information, whether it's relevant or not, and then how this could influence the analysis the wrong way. Okay? At conclusion, during the identifying this, using these principles, it's always used to subject matter expertise, again to logically test the various theories that are on the table. Okay. Now, when they established the Kepner and Faria principles, and then they said that actually there are five most common problem situations. Okay. For each, they create the tool, they create this structured questions to help you to get this. But of course, these situations are not unique. This every project, every operation, and this everyone is having this. You may have problems with no clear direction how to proceed, or you may have sometimes just one problem. You know the problem. That's why their structure is very easy and flexible. Then you don't need to go through the priority wise to identify the core issues. See, because you have only one problem. Sometimes, and then, but this problem may be very vague. As I said, we are having performance issues. It is poorly defined a problem, and you cannot resolve anything based on this. You have to determine the correct focus of the problem. Okay, that's why you can apply the thinking wise. Or sometimes you may know the problem as well. You have a very well defined problem that you don't need to go through this step. You can just go to the step onto the cause wise to find the root cause of an incident. Okay, because defined requirements are not met. All right. This is how you know that we have a deviation from the standard, and project team needs to find the accurate true cause of the problem before the team can make any progress. These are here. These are always given to you. Will be, when you attend the full course, you will be taught on this. The reason, because you should know. If you feel that the problem is not clear, even though some people in your team insist that they know the problem, you may go through those steps. Okay. And then, of course, fourthly, most effective solution is not apparent most of the time. There is hidden somewhere. We need an approach that would help us to develop innovative actions so that a problem does not reoccur. Okay. That's why we are looking to most effective solution. Again, we are never looking to best solution. Or, there is always, of course, option to, erase everything, rebuild. But we are not looking this. We are looking to most effective and efficient solution. Say that we found this solution. Yes, I know it looks like, brings lots of negativeness to mind, but the risk. We have to do the risk analysis. Because we have to think creatively on how to avoid anything from going wrong with the implementation. This involves identifying hidden risk and creatively circumvent them in such a way that it does not have any impact on your plan. You see, it is important because on the risk, what we said, risk is unknown. To manage the risk, you have to know. You see, you may not know the impact, you may not know that when it's going to happen or whether it is going to happen, but you have to be prepared. Otherwise, you cannot manage. See, this is the idea. You may find the most effective solution, and it may come with a risk. You identify. You say that if this risk occurs, then we will behave this way. Then we will do this next steps or whatever it is. See this one. And when you reach out to your executives with this proposal, saying that this is the problem, everyone is agreed. This is the cause, create the problems, everyone is agreed. This is our solution, proposing this solution, and we assess the risk. This is the risk percentage. Then they will be accepting to your approach. But again, keep in mind that You may not need to follow each approach step by step. You may have only one major problem. They don't need to exercise the prioritization. Okay, you may already found the cause of the problem. Then you can jump to the solution and ensure to assess the risk. Kepner and Faria created a method and tool for each situation. That's why these are the common, whatever your problem or problems, if you follow this structure, you will reach your best, most effective solution. Okay. Now, I just want to step on the key takeaways from that short session. Okay. What is important here? What we discuss? You may not remember the name of the methodology. I believe you should be able to download the slides and you will see. Always remember the ultimate goal of problem solving is using the appropriate tools, template, and associated structure questions that will allow a project team to collectively resolve a problem in such a way that would enjoy total support and buy-in from all the vested stakeholders. That's why this will allow you to, improve the outcome of your project. If needed, rescue your project, resolve complex problems successfully in less time with fewer resources. And always remember, problem solving requires cause and effect thinking, and the decision requires systematic thinking. A problem is the visible effect of a cause that happened in the past. We must relate the effect we observe to its exact cause. Only then can we be sure of taking appropriate corrective action. An action that can correct the problem and keep it from recurring. So, what I recommend you is actually this. It's applicable to everyone. Please do not assume anything. As on the project management, we said that project management 101 is the don't assume. Okay, identify the core underlying reasons that is present in any problem situation. And ask why questions. And when you come to the course, you will hear that we will teach you the 5 whys. It's good. And especially if you tell your team saying that this is our methodology, based on this, if there is a problem, we will follow these steps and I will ask you the certain structured questions. Then nothing else. You see, no one can say, where did you bring those questions? Because at the beginning of the project or when you join the team, you will say, this is your approach. That's I do. Because I am new, they don't know me. I tell them, there is a problem, and when there is a problem, we are going to follow this. I am going to ask. Of course, depends on the size of the problem, complexity of the problem. You may apply the full methodology, or you may just use the certain feature of the methodology. But always ask why question. And always specifically phrase questions actually helps you to get specific answers. Okay? And of course, always align different views and be self-responsible. So, in summary, I just want to share the very good, proven 5 good problem-solving practices. If you can work on improving these practices, you will grow in your skills as a professional project member. But always remember, the most basic purpose of critical thinking methodologies is to ensure that the project manager engages the right information sources to answer predefined questions. Recognizing the situation would enable the project team to a successful solution. This approach will empower project managers to reach out to stakeholders in such a way that will stimulate innovative thinking. And always surround yourself with knowledgeable subject matter experts who are closer to the problem because this will increase your chance of being listened. And also ensure everyone who is involved solving the problem receive the same information. This is it for me today, and we'll skip the question and answer sections, because if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. It's in the slides. Feel free to send an email, and also I attached the references here that you can get the more information. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.